What is up, people? BP here, and today we are going to be looking at this young lady right here, and her name is Lacey Ellen Fletcher. Lacey Ellen Fletcher is a very beautiful young lady, and unfortunately suffered a very slow, painful death. So, to summarize what happened, this young girl had what was called locked-in syndrome. And if you guys don't know what that is, basically it just means that the person cannot move, but they have full cognitive awareness, which means their brain is functioning just fine, but they're unable to move their muscles. And so anyways, this woman was living with her parents, her mom and her dad. And basically she was the victim of neglect. And over the course of 10, 12 years, somewhere around there, she was neglected to death. Now, I'm going to show you some pictures that are quite disturbing. So if you're bothered by graphic details such as this, please be forewarned. Anyways, so what happened was the mom and the dad were raising their child, which is Lacey. Lacey was autistic. Lacey also suffered with locked-in syndrome. And instead of reporting this particular issue to the appropriate authorities or to the medical staff or the hospital staff and trying to get her the proper help that she needed, they just let her rot away on her couch. And when they found her, she was up to her elbows in her chest in feces and had sunk through the couch in a hole. And like I said, she died a very painful death. I believe when they found her with her eyes open. And she had nothing but skin and bones. And this poor individual who's at the age of, I think, 36 years old, she died. So from the age of 26 to 36, she suffered a very cruel and unusual death. And this is in America. You know, and as a Christian, I'm a firm believer in missions. Don't get me wrong here when I say this. But when we have people suffering in America, people who are in desperate need of the gospel in America, people dying the most cruel forms of death here, why are we focusing so much on the world when we need to focus on our problems here first? And then we can focus on the world. I find it very tragic that even in the Inquisitions with the Catholic Church, and how many people perished under that terrible form of dictatorship. You did not ever read a case that was as bad as this one. And we're not under any kind of inquisition. We're not under any sort of dictatorship. This is not the Holocaust. This is a free country. And the fact that this sort of thing happens is just unbelievably mind-boggling. This girl was tortured for 10 years. And nobody did anything about it. So she died a death of neglect. She was killed by neglect. And I'm going to go ahead and read the article to you. It's titled "Photos Show Autistic Woman Fused in Sofa in Her Waist with Cleaning Products Around Her." Please forgive me if I talk slow or do not finish my sentences or sound very stupid. I apologize. I'm not the best public speaker. But anyways, so let's go ahead and jump right into this. And as you can see, you see the girl here on the left-hand side, the couch where she was found, just nothing but skin and bones. And then her parents over here on the right-hand side. And it says dozens of pictures shown as evidence reveal the horrifying state that a 36-year-old autistic woman was in before she died, fused in a sofa surrounded by her own excrement. The harrowing images of Lacey Ellen Fletcher, found dead on her parents' couch in January, were shown by District Attorney Sam D'Aquila, can't say that right, to a grand jury in a sealed session last Monday. The pictures helped convince the jury to bring second-degree murder charges against her and father Sheila and Clay Fletcher. Lacey, emaciated and caked in feces, appeared buried in a hole in the sofa with cleaning wipes, nasal spray, talcum powder, and lotion bottles strewn around her, according to the Daily Mail, which viewed the photos late last week. D'Aquila, I can't say it, would not release the images for publication, and nearly all were unpublishable due to their horrifying and graphic content, the news outlet wrote. And this is the couch, and there you see the blurred out images where the hole would have been and her dead body found. All right. This note says Lacey Fletcher, 36, was found sitting in a hole in the couch. Lacey was sunken into the sofa up to her shoulders, slumped on her left side with her right arm across her bony body by her neck. She was partially naked, and a blue patterned T-shirt over her chest did not cover her breasts. Her legs were crossed in a posture of a bid to survive, the Daily Mail reported. Lacey's eyes were wide open, and her open mouth revealed she still had all of her front teeth. Her body had big red blotches. Lacey's buttocks were eaten away from at least 12 years in the same position. Her excrement was over most of her body, including her hair and even in her ears. When I was presenting the case and showed the pictures and gave the timeline, the expressions of the grand jury was utter shock. Like the clock on the wall never moved again, coroner Dr. Ewell Bickman told the Daily Mail. And this is their home. And it looks like they were pretty much secluded from their neighbors. It goes on to say there was complete silence. Some jurors were gasping in horror. Some were staring in disbelief. A few feet away from the sofa was a low table cluttered with items that suggest the Fletchers had supplies to clean Lacey. Along with the wipes, nasal spray, and lotion bottles was a box with a lid and a child's photograph. To the right of the sofa was a gray commode with a pile of clothes neatly folded. A video recorded by Bickman shows an 18-inch gap between the sofa and the wall with a wet patch he believes is urine, according to the Daily Mail. You cannot say she was not in pain. Lacey weighed 96 pounds when authorities found her dead on January 3rd at her home in the small town of Slaughter. Oh boy, that's a terrible name for a town. Sheila was released from East Feliciana. I can't, dude, all these bad names that I can't pronounce in this article. East Feliciana Parish Jail on Tuesday night after posting a $300,000 bond, and her husband also walked free on Wednesday morning after posting the same amount. If convicted, the parents face a life sentence without parole. Bro, if they had that much money to post that much bond, how did they not be able to afford, like, to get her help? Like, to get her some sort of disability or something. I don't know. The Fletcher's first arraignment will likely be within 2 months, D'Aquila told the Daily Mail, and their trial could begin as soon as October. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, just to look at how pretty this girl was. Not that it matters. I mean, she's a human being, even if she wasn't. But the fact that she was this incredibly attractive human being and nobody cared, it's beyond me. I mean, to the parents, I would say, didn't you look at your child, like, not just as a not just as an adult with autism, but didn't you view her at one time as a child, a little helpless child? And I mean, you wouldn't leave a 5-year-old by themselves to just be neglected. Well, then, you know what though? I wouldn't put it past people these days. You know, you have children neglected all the time. Parents fail them all the time. And it's really pathetic because I grew up in a loving Christian home where my parents loved me, gave me hugs. And it just bothers me that people grow up in homes where they don't get the love and affection they need growing up. And I remember having this conversation with somebody the other day, and I was telling them, you know, it's very important to get that love and affection from your friends, you know, especially like the church. You should be able to go into a church, and you should be from any background, any race, any gender, walk in and get a hug. I just don't understand how people can be so cruel, and they don't care, and they don't check on people. And it's just pathetic. And then, you know, to die at the hands of your own parents is just even worse. This is a crime against humanity. This is one of the worst stories I've ever read in my life. And I wanted to cover it on my channel because I wanted to give a fair warning to people out there who do look after people with special needs. This girl had autism, all right? She had a physical ailment, locked-in syndrome, could not move, all right? Just because people have autism, it does not mean you should hate them or treat them with neglect. They still need to be checked on. They still need to be followed up with. And I would venture to say friends and family need to follow up with caretakers to hold them accountable. Hey, did you check on so-and-so today? Hey, how's so-and-so doing? Okay? If you know somebody is a caretaker, you need to follow up with them and find out what is going on. Hey, have they been outside lately? What's going on? Ask questions. Inquire. Make an excuse to go to their house and look at their environment. All right? This is absurd. This is not a child. This human being, she's 36. This 36-year-old woman, who is perhaps one of the most pretty girls I've ever seen in the news, was just fully neglected. And unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So anyways, I wanted to read to you guys a scripture verse as a warning to people out there who would commit the same acts of neglect. And I don't want to hear it. You know, I've heard women say in like marriages, they'll say, "Oh, you neglected me." Lady, you don't know the concept of what neglect truly is. You have no concept. So I don't want to hear it from people that say things like, oh, he neglected me. Oh, I was neglected. Listen, you have no clue what that word means. So we're gonna address that today here in this scripture verse as a warning to people that would do the same exact thing. It says, all right, when the Son of Man shall sit, verse 31, Matthew chapter 25, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was an hungered, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungered and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was an hungered, and ye gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me not in. Naked, and ye clothed me not. Sick and in prison, and ye visited me not. Then shall they also say unto him, Then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungered, or athirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto thee? Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal. This very passage of Scripture takes up half a chapter of Matthew chapter 25, is fully directed to people who neglect. You neglect those who need you the most. You neglect people that need some cold water to drink, some food to eat, some clothes to wear, some basic human necessities. And that is all that Jesus was trying to say here in this chapter. You failed to provide basic human necessities. Food, water, clothing, shelter, protection. Now, I'm not judging these people. All right? Nobody's perfect. So I don't want to be too critical. But I will say this. These parents likely were thinking in their heads, what if I open my mouth and try to get her help? I will be looked at like a criminal. I'll be arrested if I try to get my daughter help. Something like that, you know. And I get it. A lot of people live in fear that somebody is going to rat them out when maybe it was just a minor issue. It starts out as a minor issue and then it ends up being a full-blown neglectful case like this. So, if you are in a similar situation, you find yourself caretaking for someone, and at the very start of the issue, where they begin to show signs of they need help, you immediately get them help. You do not wait 1, 2, 3 days. All right? Even if somebody's going to look at you funny and might call the police on you, you still get them help because it's the right thing to do. All right? And if you're innocent, well, your innocence will speak for you, and there will not be incriminating evidence. So, and I'm trying to think of an example. There was one guy, I think, he was caring for his wife, I think, and she ends up killing herself. That's right. It was a guy I was talking to online, and I was like, did you kill her? Because the way he was talking was like, you know, she killed herself. The police came, asked questions, and left and ruled it a suicide, right? And that's fine. But, you know, and I'm an outsider looking in, and I'm like, well, did you kill her? You know, because people jump to conclusions. So I was thinking to myself, did you kill her? And I even asked him that, but I never got a response. But it doesn't matter what the outsiders looking in think. It's all about what the authorities think. If they think that, this person committed suicide and they rule it that, then that's what it is. And forget what people think. So, I mean, point is, if you're a caretaker and it looks like you are a criminal and you are the bad guy, okay, and you are neglecting them, okay, whatever, you should still get them help the first day. Do not wait, because the longer it goes on, the more incriminating evidence is going to build up against you, and then, yes, you will be held accountable at that point. You will be held to accountable of neglect. Like I said, half of this chapter of Matthew chapter 25 is directly tied into the subject of neglect. People being neglected for basic necessities. Jesus said, "Inasmuch as you did it to the least of these, you have done it to me." And to the other group, he said, "Inasmuch as you did it not to me, or did it not to the one of the least of these, you did it not to me." So take heed, people. That's all I have for today. If you guys enjoyed this video, well, I can't say you enjoyed it, but if you like my content, you like my channel, and you want to show some love, please leave a comment. I love to engage with my viewers. I've been engaging with a few of them over the last video I made, and it's not always easy to answer difficult questions, but I do the best that I can. And yeah, if you guys need to speak to me for any reason, please leave a comment with your socials or your contact information. If you guys are wanting to book me for public speaking events, please let me know. And yeah, I would love to talk with you guys and impart some good godly wisdom to you. And you guys take care. God bless.